from the great state of Missouri, Sarah Steelman.
Thank you. Thank you. The first thing we're going to do is fix the flag. We can't have that like that. So bear with us for a minute. You want me to help? You know why? Because we honor the flag in this country, don't we? We still do, because it stands for freedom. Thank you for fixing that. I am Sarah Steelman. I'm from Rolla, Missouri. I'm running for United States Senate against Claire McCaskill because the status quo has got to go. And I want to thank you guys for coming out here today. I really appreciate it. And I also want to thank a couple people before I get started. I want to thank the Willises for their berry patch farm and opening it up to this many people. And I want to thank Sheriff Dwight Deal, who is making sure that there's security, and the EMTs that are here as well, because it's an awful hot day. Appreciate what they do very much. And I want to thank little Lily for that beautiful leadership that she showed in leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance. And that's what America's about right there, isn't it? Because what Lily has to worry about is what we're worried about here today. For the first time in American history, people are worried about her future and about whether her kids are going to have the same opportunities that we had when we were growing up in this country. And why is that? I'll tell you why. It's because people like Barack Obama and Claire McCaskill have run up this overwhelming, unsustainable debt that is killing our economy and our future for our kids today and our kids yet to even be born. And we cannot afford more of the same. Think about it. Under Barack Obama's leadership, the debt goes up at $50,000 a minute. That's a second, excuse me. I say that every time because it's so unfathomable. A second. That's $3 million a minute. And Claire McCaskill has voted to raise that debt ceiling 6 times in her short term of office, from $9 trillion to $16 trillion. We can't take that. The reason that we need a balanced budget amendment isn't just because we know that an overwhelming debt takes away jobs and eventually makes us pay more in taxes and raises interest rates. It's because that kind of debt takes away our freedom. In our country, our prosperity is based on freedom. It has been in the past, and it always will be in the future. And that's not the only threat to our freedom today. Think about this last Supreme Court decision. I was so disappointed and upset, and I still am. And I'm going to tell you, I will vote to repeal Obamacare. That Supreme Court decision represents what's wrong in Washington, D.C. today. That was nothing more than a decision that protected the status quo and the establishment and the political powers that be. That Chief Justice Roberts should have been upholding the Constitution of the United States of America as opposed to protecting the so-called integrity of the court. And there are other threats to our freedom every day. You know, we got OSHA coming down and telling us our 14-year-old boys can't bale hay anymore. Isn't that ridiculous? So how did we get here? Well, here's how we got here. It's because the United States Senate, that used to be the protector of our freedoms in this country, has become nothing more than a club dominated by people like Harry Reid and Claire McCaskill, who are wealthy, pampered, and privileged, and care more about protecting their own re-elections and their own power than they do about doing what's right for this country. We can't tolerate a Senate like that. Think about it. They fly around in their jets while they raise our energy prices. They raise our taxes while they don't even pay their own on time. They support a Federal Reserve System that takes away the value of our retirement while we pay for their pensions. And they exempt themselves from laws that are choking our small businesses to death. And to top it all off, they don't even pass a budget and uphold their constitutional responsibility while they bankrupt our country. We can't afford more of the same. Now, I'm running for Senate. I've never been part of that good old boy club, and I never will be. And if you send me to the United States Senate, I'm not going to just knock on that door politely and walk in and silently close the door behind me. No, sir. I'm going to go to the United States Senate. I'm going to kick those doors down, and I'm going to take every single one of you all with me, and together we will rattle some cages. The first thing that I want to do is to make sure that we rein in spending, is to pass a balanced budget amendment to the Constitution, with a cap on the size of government. And the second thing that I'm going to do is to make sure we get a budget, is that we need to suspend those members of Congress pay when they don't pass a budget. They don't get paid. And the third thing I want to do is to make sure that the Senate is not a club exclusive to everybody else. I want to eliminate congressional pensions because we know it is a service. It is not a career. And I want to tell y'all, I have a whole contract with Missouri that we probably passed out that I'd be happy to sign, and it is a list of things that I am committing to do so that you know what I'm going to do if you elect me to the United States Senate. Because I do what I say I'm going to do. And that's the difference between me and my opponents, and you can count on me. And I also want you to know that I believe that the strength of America is right here in this field, in every single one of you all. And we need to restore America. And the way we do that is through you, because our government belongs to you. And so you guys got to help me on Tuesday. I need your help. I need your vote. We can take our country back, and we will. Thank you all so much for coming out here tonight. I look forward to talking to each and every one of you. And now it is my very, very great pleasure and honor, and I'm so excited I can't hardly stand it, to introduce who I believe is one of the most fearless leaders of our time. She has the courage of her conservative convictions, and she is changing and leading our country and taking back America. Governor Sarah Palin, thank you very much.
My entourage with me today, Todd and Willow and Piper. They're in the shade. If you can imagine, they're in the shade. It's about 48 degrees in Alaska overnight, and yeah, we're roasting. And yeah, I'm gonna be sweating up here, and I know somebody's gonna YouTube it, right? My sweat, say, well, you know, so be it. It's part of working hard and doing the right thing and standing for your next United States Senator, Sarah Steelman. Oh, it's so good to be here in Missouri, sincerely. I'm looking at your state flag, and I'm thinking it is no accident that your flag highlights a couple of mama grizzlies, right? It's got to be mama grizzly bears on that flag with the cub, representing bravery, representing looking out for the next generation, and that's what Sarah Steelman represents. Sarah knows that the status quo has got to go. I don't like to hear all this talk about 4 more years. How about approximately 4 more months? 4 more months. You guys have a seat if you have a chair, or even on the ground, because I don't want you getting too warm like I already am, to tell you the truth. But I love it. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely beautiful. And driving through these farmlands, especially with my kids, means so much. It's just such a wonderful picture of Americana. And to me, it represents strong work ethic, expectation for reward for work ethic, that which is a foundational characteristic of American exceptionalism. And I know that you want that protected. And I know that that is why you're here supporting Sarah Steelman. Let me tell you why I support her. Another reason that I support her and Todd and our family in support of Sarah. First, let me tell you though, I want to thank you, and I know that Sarah wants to thank you, and her campaign staff wants to thank you for being here tonight. You are part of the solution, and you are here when you could have been anywhere else in Missouri tonight, but you are here standing up for the right person, and it's for the right reasons, because you believe in that American exceptionalism. You believe that freedom is a God-given right, and it's worth fighting for. And if you love your freedom, let's take a minute to thank those who defend it every day, and that's our troops. Thank you, veterans of the United States military. They allow us to be here today. So why do I support Sarah? You know, I know that there's a lot of competition for your vote, which is a sacred trust. Your vote in this GOP primary. These days, many in the GOP find it kind of easy to run on a conservative platform, but it's a lot tougher to govern as a conservative, especially when those around you are spending money like there's no tomorrow, spending other people's money. They're addicted to that OPM, other people's money. It's tougher to govern as a conservative. And these days, many in a lot of GOP primaries, you know, they're running on that platform, but there they are with their expensive ads and their impressive rhetoric and their fancy schmancy websites. And, you know, they want you to believe that they perhaps have a record of conservative values, conservative efforts, but we have a candidate who actually has that solid, impeccable record. It's why you have to look really carefully at a candidate's record and not just believe the rhetoric. Because, as I say, your vote is a sacred trust, and Sarah knows that. And Sarah has something that I so greatly admire in a leader. She has the backbone to stand up for what is right and to stand up to the powers that be, even in her own party, if the powers that be aren't doing what's right for you. Sarah's had the guts to go against the grain in her whole political tenure for you as a state treasurer and a state senator. It's what she had to do to fight the political establishment's out-of-control spending and certainly the far-left politicians' government overreach. Will you send her to Washington to do that for the rest of America and set an example for others who are in Washington, D.C. to do what she's done here in Missouri? So she may not have the political establishment's blessing, but that in itself is a blessing, isn't it? It is. It is. Because she's going to belong to you, patriots. She's not going to be belonging to some machine who thinks that they can mold and meld her and make her pliable and compromise these conservative convictions that you will be voting for and you will be expecting her to continue to stand strong on. She doesn't have the big bucks. She doesn't have those high-paid political consultants who, in a campaign too often, they take a job for a season instead of a reason. What she has, though, is solid experience and common sense. She has courage. She has that impeccable, unmatched record in this primary as the reformer. That's enough to win my support. Is that enough to win your support? And taking on your own party when it needs to be taken on, it takes courage and character and conviction. And you gotta ask yourself, why are these attack ads hitting, slamming Sarah left and right lately? They are inaccurate, they are unfair. When you ask yourself, you need to give yourself this answer. Those attack ads are coming because The DC establishment, when they see a candidate with a history of calling out waste and corruption in their own party, they see trouble. We see integrity. We see integrity in Sarah Steelman, hence the ads that are unfair attacking her. You do suffer the consequences for that exposure. And I know what it's like to be a fiscal conservative when others around you are spending like there's no tomorrow. Sarah knows that too. You know, one of her first actions when she was first elected, she called for eliminating some generous financial perks for politicians. You don't make a lot of friends in the political establishment with fellow lawmakers doing that, do you? No, but she was walking the walk. She doesn't just talk the talk, she's walking the walk. We the people though, right? You, the people who hired her to get the job done, you certainly appreciate that. And as I say, you rightfully expect that she'll do the right thing for you. Sarah's efforts to eliminate the politicians' perks, some entitlements they believed, well, she said that she doesn't see public office as an entitlement. She said, quote, "It's about service, it's not a career." Can't we have this in DC? Just good common sense folks with courage, with that servant's hearts, ready to restore American exceptionalism. It's to get government off our back and put it back on our side. Now, she's not one to just go along to get along when it comes to politics, because as she says, the status quo has got to go. She's not going to Washington, D.C. just hoping that she's going to get invited out for those foo-foo, she D-cell cocktail parties, right? I don't think that's her gig. No, mine either. No, see, what we need, what she recognizes, is the need for sudden and relentless reform of government to save our country's economy and to protect our God-given freedoms. Sarah Steelman is that reformer in this race. She spent her time in office fighting for transparency and tough ethic laws and fighting crony capitalism, and she opposed the corporate subsidies, and she supported throughout the sanctity of human life, which is near and dear to my heart, and I so appreciate her boldness taking a stand for life. And as state treasurer, well, there again, she went ticking off some politicians when she adopted a conflict of interest policy that stopped lawmakers from personally benefiting from tax credits that they had approved. That's her record. It's not rhetoric. And conservatism is in her blood. I think it's cool, the story about her dad, who was a Goldwater Reagan supporter, and he had a bookshop called the Freedom Center where he sold Milton Friedman books, and I think maybe through osmosis she got to some of that passion for conservative traditional values in America. And when she was just 18, she cut her teeth on politics by volunteering for a maverick-type governor who was running for president at the time. You may have heard of him, Ronald Reagan. Back in '76, you couldn't have been 18. You were more like 2, right? Yes, I'm sure. Hot Mama Grizzly you guys have, I'll tell you. Yeah, just going to be a nice face there in that Senate. Reagan ran, remember, he ran underfunded grassroots campaigns against the GOP establishment when they compromised their platform's foundational planks. Sarah was a Reaganite before Reaganite was cool, and that's what Washington needs more of today. So, yeah, Sarah may be the underdog in this race. And the special interest groups, they've spent millions and millions of dollars on misleading, negative ads, trying to trash her record and trash her reputation. Why? Because they fear her. She's the only candidate in this race who scares them, because she won't go to Washington just to go along to get along while politicians drive us off that bankruptcy cliff. She's going to Washington to shake things up, and I bet her campaign theme is just a burr in their saddle when they hear her chant, "The status quo has got to go." I'm so thankful that she is confident in her message. diligent in the cause. She didn't need DC consultants to infiltrate Missouri to mold and shape her into something pliable like they like. In fact, I think this is cool. She turned to her son Sam to help lead her campaign. He knows Mom best, right? He knows her determination to do the right thing. And don't let anybody mess with that either. Being yourself, doing the right thing. That's another similarity. As I mentioned, my entourage, my Todd and Willow and Piper here today with me, that they know you best. And they know how determined you are and how willing you are to make sacrifices to do what's right for the people whom you desire to serve. And that's why Sam has been such an instrumental part in his mom's campaign. I think that's admirable. But again, it's just like Reagan. Back when Sarah and I were just itty-bitty babies and he was running for office, right? Yes. She's running grassroots, one handshake at a time, going farm to farm. Not TV spot to TV spot. And a supporter had said that he first met Sarah at an event where the opponents had rolled up in their expensive rigs and they had their glossy displays all set up and they had their paid consultants, and here comes Sarah rolling up in her pick-em-up truck. And I thought that was so cool. And then there she is with a rogue band of college-age volunteers. She shook every hand, this supporter said, spoke with everyone one at a time, and she won them over one at a time. She knows as she heads to DC, man, you buck up or you stay in the truck. She knows what this is all about, getting out there, meeting the people one-on-one. That's where you win a race, and she's been willing to put in the tough work, that shoe leather, to get to know you, to get to speak with you, to hear from you. That's what more politicians need to do today. So it is an honor to get to join her here today, and we get to serve you. We get to thank you, and it's not Chick-fil-A tonight. We'll stop at your Chick-fil-A on the road for our midnight snack later on. Yes, we will. That should be part of everybody's campaign. But what we're proud to get to serve you is good old Kansas City barbecue, and I can't wait. So friends, when you make that choice, when you consider who it is that you will give that solemn trust, your vote, who you will give it to, who you choose for your next United States Senator, I want you to think about this, that you have that choice to choose results over rhetoric, convictions over consultants, and Missouri over Washington. So are you ready to work hard to send this Show Me State Mama Grizzly to show the rest of American politicians how to get the job done in Washington? You know, united we stand, divided we fall. God bless you, Missouri. Thank you for supporting Sarah Steelman. And God bless the United States of America.